The story begins with a woman cooking in her kitchen when she suddenly starts hearing strange noises coming from the pipe under the sink. At first, she thinks it might be water pressure, but when she listens carefully, it feels like someone is whispering. Soon, her husband Danny comes home. He goes into the kitchen and is surprised that dinner isn't ready yet. In a frightened voice, his wife tells him that she heard strange whispers from the pipe and felt like someone was talking about hurting her. Danny tries to calm her down and checks the sink himself, but he doesn't hear anything. He assumes that his wife is just tired from working too much and tells her that maybe the neighbors are doing some repairs and the sound is traveling through the pipes. That night, while his wife is in the bathroom, Danny suddenly hears loud knocking from the other side of the wall. The sound is so strong that it wakes him up. He thinks the neighbor is making noise on purpose. Angry, he shouts and tells them to be quiet. For a moment, everything becomes silent and he tries to sleep again. But as soon as he closes his eyes, the knocking starts again. Frustrated, Danny goes outside and walks straight to the neighbor's house. He rings the doorbell several times, but no one answers. This confuses him even more. If the neighbor isn't home, then where are the sounds coming from? With this question in his mind, he returns to his house. As soon as he steps inside, Danny realizes that the knocking wasn't coming from next door, but from his own bathroom. He rushes toward it and sees something horrifying. His wife is smashing herself against the bathroom walls, as if an invisible force has taken control of her body. Danny tries desperately to stop her, but she keeps hurting herself. In the end, she dies right there. After this tragic incident, he is admitted to a mental hospital because of the shock. Later, with police permission, 3 people come to meet him. One is a forensic specialist named John. The second is a paranormal investigator named Mona, and the third is a psychiatrist named Raymond. All 3 believe that something unusual may be behind this incident. That is why they want to understand if any strange or frightening events had happened around Danny's house in recent days. Danny tells them that his neighbor, Walter, had been acting strangely for the past few days. As soon as Mona hears Walter's name, she becomes serious. She explains that a few days earlier, Walter had called her and said that strange things were happening in his house. He believed that some invisible force was present there. The next day, Walter called again and told her that whenever he returned home at night, he felt like someone was hiding under his bed. Every time he checked, there was nothing there. Still, because of fear, he couldn't sleep for many nights and started taking sleeping pills. One night, while he was in deep sleep, his bed suddenly began to shake. He woke up in fear and looked underneath, but he couldn't see anything. However, it felt as if something was there. At that very moment, the room lights suddenly went out. Panicking, Walter quickly plugged the wire back into the socket. As soon as the electricity returned, he felt that something had run out of the room. Terrified, he immediately hid under his blanket and started praying. The next morning, he saw that his entire house was in complete disorder. Shocked and scared, he called Mona again and told her that now he could clearly see the shadow. He begged for help and said that things had gone too far. However, Mona's assistant refused to help him because there was no solid proof. That night, Walter sets up a camera in his bedroom so he can record everything. After turning it on, he tries to sleep, but after some time, a strange sound wakes him up. When he looks toward the window, he sees a terrifying shadow. In fear, he quickly turns on the light, but as soon as the room is bright, the shadow disappears. Feeling uneasy, Walter picks up the camera and watches the recording. In the footage, a horrifying figure was staring at him and then moving toward the closet. He looks at the closet and gathers the courage to open its door, but finds nothing inside. Then he rewinds the video and realizes something even more disturbing. The shadow actually came out from under his bed. Suddenly, the closet door opens by itself, and the same terrifying figure appears inside. But before he can react, the strange creature attacks him. The next morning, a young boy comes near Walter's house while playing football. He stops to drink water from the tap outside. Suddenly, Walter angrily shouts at the child to leave immediately. The frightened boy runs away in panic, and while crossing the road, he gets hit by a bus. Hearing the noise, Danny rushes out of his house. When he reaches the spot, he realizes that the injured child is actually his neighbor Alicia's son. Soon, the police arrive and begin their investigation. After collecting evidence, the road is cleared. Later, the child's body is taken to the cemetery and buried. That same night, forensic specialist John receives a call from the police asking for help in a mysterious case. When John arrives at the location, he is shocked to see that the woman who filed the complaint is Alicia. She tells him in fear that she heard strange sounds outside her door. When she looked out, she saw a small shadow that looked like a child, and she also noticed unusual footprints on the ground. After hearing Alicia's story, John goes outside to check and sees that the child's body had been kept there. Seeing this, he begins to suspect that Alicia is unable to handle the trauma of her son's death and may have dug up his body herself in her disturbed state of mind. While John and the police are discussing this possibility, a glass of milk placed on the table suddenly falls on its own. Seeing this, John suggests that the child's body should be quietly buried again, away from the mother's sight, and that this incident should not be officially recorded in the police report. He believes that if this information becomes public, the situation could get even worse. In reality, the police officer in charge of the case, Fuse, is Alicia's ex-boyfriend, and John is also a close friend of Fuse. To avoid complications, John advises that the report should mention that the movement of the body happened due to muscle reactions after death. After leaving the house, John notices a woman taking photographs nearby. He approaches her, and during their conversation, he learns that she is Mona, a paranormal researcher. Mona explains that she heard about the strange incidents happening in this area and came to investigate the truth. John tells her that she should help him with this case. After that, both of them sit together in Alicia's living room and begin discussing all the strange events. John tells her that he's been working as a forensic specialist for the past 15 years, but he has never seen a case this mysterious before. Hearing this, Mona says that whatever is happening in this area does not seem like any normal incident. At the same time, a small child accidentally passes through the wall while searching for his toy and enters the room. When he sees the dead body lying there, he freezes in fear. Suddenly, the body's head slowly turns and looks directly at him. Meanwhile, Mona shows John some photographs she had taken from Walter's house. She believes that the strange incidents in Walter's house and the events happening here are all connected. Just then, they hear a child scream from outside. But when they reach there, they find no one around. Then Mona notices something near the door and realizes that someone had been there. Quickly, John and Mona place the child's body inside a refrigerator so that no one else can see it. However, during this entire incident, another child secretly records everything. After this, John meets Officer Fuse. Together, they decide that they will dispose of the body while Alicia is asleep. But suddenly, the refrigerator begins to shake violently. At this point, the story shifts to the present time. We learn that all these events are being discussed by John, Mona, and the others. John places a file on the table and explains that all these incidents are centered in the same area. Because of this, Danny has given them permission to investigate the houses. Soon, the entire team reaches the area to begin their investigation. They split into different groups. Lead investigator Mona goes to inspect Danny's house because everything started there. The other two investigators head toward Walter's house. Meanwhile, the fourth investigator goes to the home of the child. Meanwhile, because there was no electricity, Fuse asked Professor Raymond if they should turn the power back on. But Raymond immediately refused. He said that spirits become more active in the dark. When they entered the kitchen, they saw several utensils stuck to the top of the cabinet, as if they had been glued there. As Raymond tried to touch them, a knife suddenly cut into his hand. Seeing this, Fuse rushed forward to help him. At that moment, Raymond noticed something terrifying. Inside the cabinet, something invisible seemed to be drinking his blood. Shocked, Fuse immediately pulled out his gun. But Raymond stopped him and slowly opened the cabinet door. When he looked inside, nothing was there. Raymond then pulled the knife out of his hand and stepped back. Fuse quickly took him away from that place. John received a phone call from Fuse. Fuse told him that he could not stay there anymore. He had a heart condition, but at that exact moment, John noticed something strange through the glass. He felt like someone was standing inside the house where Fuse was. The figure was not visible directly in the room. It could only be seen through the reflection in the glass. Suddenly, that shadow appeared right in front of John. Because of this, the phone call was cut off. Meanwhile, Mona also noticed a crack forming in the wall. Soon after, Fuse returned to Raymond and said that he wanted to leave immediately. But just then, Raymond found a new clue. When both of them looked under the bed from the other side, they saw that the entire room was filled with strange and terrifying creatures. Seeing this horrifying sight, Fuse completely lost control and ran out of the house in fear. He rushed to John's house and started calling out to him loudly. But John did not respond. Suddenly, Fuse's eyes fell on the cupboard. He noticed bloodstains on it. Trembling with fear, he slowly opened the cabinet door. Inside, he found John's dead body. Meanwhile, Mona was examining the cracks in the wall. That was when she noticed someone hiding there. It was Walter, who had been missing for a long time. At that moment, Fuse arrived and told her that something terrible had happened to John. Hearing this, Mona realized that the situation was now completely out of control. She immediately tried to contact Raymond and told him that the investigation had to stop because it had become life-threatening. But there was no response from the other side. Suddenly, all the strange events began connecting in Mona's mind. She finally understood the truth behind the mystery. Mona told Fuse that these incidents were not caused by any human being. Instead, they were spreading through water. She explained that the child who died in the bus accident had drunk water from Walter's house. After the child's death, when the police washed the road, that same water flowed through the drains and spread across the entire area. That was why Danny's wife had started hearing strange whispers in the kitchen. Just then, a hand suddenly came out from inside the wall and grabbed Professor Raymond. The scene was so horrifying that Fuse suffered a heart attack. At the same time, a monstrous figure began emerging from the wall. Meanwhile, Raymond was watching the camera recordings when the cabinet behind him suddenly opened on its own. In the very next moment, he was killed. Sometime later, when Fuse regained consciousness, he saw that all the furniture in the room was moving by itself. Just then, Alicia entered the room. She started blaming Fuse for harming her child. She also mentioned the video that a boy had recorded on his mobile phone. In the video, he is hiding a dead body. When Fuse apologized to her, she seemed to calm down a little. Later, as Fuse was about to get into his car, he suddenly noticed the child's body. At that moment, he realized that Alicia had completely lost her mental balance. Terrified, he immediately ran toward another car. As soon as he tried to start it, Mona's spirit appeared in front of him. Seeing her, he panicked and fled from the place. After driving for some distance, he suddenly stopped the car on the roadside. He turned back and drove at full speed toward the house. When he reached there, he took 2 cans of gasoline. His plan was to burn the house down and destroy these mysterious forces forever. But when he reached Alicia's house, he saw that she had hanged herself. The sight shook him deeply. Still, he gathered his courage and poured gasoline all over the house. When he tried to light a match, it kept going out. Then he saw John standing nearby. Fuse was completely terrified. In panic, he fired his gun at the gasoline. The bullet ignited the fuel, and the house caught fire. Soon, huge flames surrounded the entire building. 5 years later, 3 strangers came to meet Danny. They asked him if he knew the forensic expert and the 2 professors. Danny nodded and said yes. Suddenly, Danny said that he could see someone peeking through the window. But when the others turned to look, there was no one there. Then Danny pointed toward the door. Everyone turned again. At that moment, a chair started moving on its own. In the next second, it flew straight toward them. And with that terrifying moment, the story comes to an end.